Hello everyone and welcome to day 4 of my holiday card making series. So for today's card I'm using my Spellbinders layered poinsettia die with my Big Shot machine. And I've got just 2 scraps of red cardstock and I'm just lining up all 4 of the poinsettia dies so that I can just cut everything all at once. And as always, I always cut with the dies face down. It's just a personal preference. I think they always usually recommend the dies should be cutting side up, but it's just habit. I always do it cutting side down. So anyway, I've got everything laid out, put on the plate, and then just running it through the Big Shot. And then once I've got that done, it's a matter of just popping them out of the cardstock. And these are kind of finely detailed, so you just got to wiggle them a little bit just to get them out of the cardstock. And then I'm leaving them in the dies because I want to sponge a darker ink onto them. So I'm just using Stampin Up Bravo Burgundy ink and then just a sponge dauber and just pressing it and lightly rubbing it into the center of the dies. And this is where it gets messy, so I'm just doing it over scratch paper. Pretty much no matter what you do, you're going to get ink all over yourself, or at least I do. So, and then I just took a Kleenex to wipe off the excess ink off the die because literally it just gets everywhere. And then once that's done, I'm just using these dull tweezers to press them out of the die. And again, you just got to wiggle it. These are really fine, so it's really easy to tear the cardstock. So once I've got it out, I'm just going to sponge the edges of all the petals, again with just the same Bravo Burgundy ink. So then once you're all done, you've got that. And then for the card, I'm using the Echo Park Seasons Greetings pattern paper. So I've kind of got a basic layout idea in mind, and then I wanted to use my label 4 Nestabilities die. And then for the sentiment, it's my Big Christmas Wishes stamp set. So I'm inking up the Mary with real red Stampin' Up ink. And then the Christmas, I am inking up with Handsome Hunter Stampin' Up ink. And just stamping that over top. And then centering the die where I want the sentiment to be. And then taping it in place before I run it through the die cut machine so that everything is lined up. And then sponging the edge of that again with just the same Bravo Burgundy ink. And then sponging that pattern paper with Bravo Burgundy ink again. So then once I've got kind of my layout in mind, it's just a matter of, I wanted to add a couple of the leaves from the poinsettia dies. So I die cut one of the pattern papers and then just same thing. I just used the Handsome Hunter Stampin' Up ink, sponged that into the middle, wiped off the excess ink with a Kleenex, and then once I pop that out of the die, sponging the edges of that, edge of that as well. And this is also a reason why I'm not using white cardstock on the card, because almost no matter what you do, ink's going to smear. It's going to get either on your work surface or on your hands, and then it gets on the cardstock. So usually when I do stuff like this, I avoid using white cardstock on my cards because it's almost a given I'm going to wreck it. So anyway, I adhere down the main layout of the card, and then I'm just using this AmyR's green wrinkle ribbon. Wrap that around the card and taped it in place, and then tied a bow on the one end and trim that off. And then for the poinsettia, I layer everything together, and then I'm just using my AmyR Memory Keepers brad setting and piercing tool to pierce a hole in the middle. And this is one thing I found out kind of afterwards, that because these are so finely detailed in the middle, what I did, it actually ended up like ripping the poinsettia in half. Like some of the petals came out later, so I just glued them into place. So attaching with a brad might not be the best thing, but I'll have to fiddle with it. But it worked. It just, any of the petals that did end up coming off because they got torn, I just glued them back into place, so it looks fine. You can't even tell. And then leaves, I just glued into place with my Tombow Mono Multi. And then I wanted to add a few brads, just kind of finish off that one spot because it just looked really bare. So I'm using my Stampin' Up piercing template and mat, and piercing 5 holes, and then just adding 5 black mini brads. So quick and easy. People always ask me where I get that tool. I got mine from stampingbella.com. You can find them at Michael's. You might have to just Google it. So yeah, once I've got card front done, I adhere that to the card base, and then the front of the card is done. So then I go on to the inside of the card, and again I'm using some more of the Season's Greetings paper. I love that plaid. I just think it's so pretty. And then I stamped a sentiment from the Handy Christmas Greeting set and lined that up again with one of the larger labels 4 dies, taped that into place so that it doesn't shift when I die cut it. And then of course I ended up sponging the edges of that again with the Bravo Burgundy ink. And then I just used a couple strips of just some scrap cards or scrap pattern paper from the Season's Greetings pad. Adhered those into place, and that's all there was to it. So get that down, and then that little strip that was just a scrap from the front of the card, and actually just worked. It said Wonderland is ready right in the middle. It just kind of finished off the inside of the card perfectly. I love how things like that turn out sometimes. So then I just adhere that to the inside of the card, and that is all there was to it. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!